I'm Brian Olson. I'm in a band called VOTA. A few years ago, we decided to do something different. We decided to make an album and use it to help an organization fight human trafficking in Nepal. And when we did it, we didn't know what we were doing. There was no model to follow. There's no other band doing the same thing we were. We made this album, we partnered with this organization, and we just went for it. And God showed up and blessed it, and amazing things happened. And we hit our goal that we set to support these border stations between the borders of Nepal and India to stop traffickers from taking young girls across the border. At the end of that, I felt so incredibly moved, satisfied what God has done, but tired. But then I kind of felt God saying, let's do it again. And so we took a chance and we made a new album. And I really felt like we were supposed to do something different. And so we started talking to this organization, Food for the Hungry, found out that they really needed some help in Nicaragua. We just went for it. It's like, yeah, let's go to Nicaragua. 3:14 in the morning. It's day one. Getting ready, we're flying out. Flight leaves at 5:30. On our way to Nicaragua. Let's text the boys. Let's see who's awake. No response, that's not a good sign. Well, Zach's up. Him and I could go to Nicaragua.
Good morning.
What do you got there for breakfast?
Uncle.
Hey, sweetheart. How you doing?
He's so chipper. Brandon, how are we doing today, buddy?
Wow, really? We're gonna start this now?
This is his first time out of the country?
Yes, it is. I'm a mixture of nervous and excited.
We're supposed to leave by 3:15. It's 3:37. Not bad for band time.
5 minutes, please proceed to take off.
In Spanish, VOTA means vote. It's gonna lose all the cool appeal.
We made an album of our own music, and we wanted to use whatever influence that we have to draw people in to help the work that Food for the Hungry is doing here in Nicaragua. We realized there are basically two types of people. There are people that need help, and there are people that can help. And as a band, we want to use our music to bring those two types of people together. Right colored. I have everything in here. This is my man purse. I only take to foreign countries. Money, schedule, Gatorade, WaterAid, book aid, journal, which I'm not good at. Do you journal?
No.
I'm terrible at writing down.
I am too.
I just don't know who to write to. So this week we have been here visiting some of the communities that Food for the Hungry is already working in, where they've built schools for these children. We arrived there and we found out that they took time to learn some of our songs and to learn some of the lyrics in English, and they wanted to sing along with us. The heavens declare your glory. And these songs that we've sung hundreds of times in other places, but here we are in Nicaragua, in these places where these communities and these children have so very little, and they took the time to learn our song, and we're singing this together. You know, I've used to play in the Newsboys, playing for thousands of people. And to come to a place like this, where people are oppressed and they have very little, and to share that moment together in a schoolroom with no big sound system and no flashing lights and screaming fans, but to sing songs of Jesus' love together with a completely different culture, I'll never forget it. You are the God of the universe, and the stars in the sky are your fireworks. Yeah, Jesus, shine your light in my life. Oh, let your glory shine, God of the universe. Oh.
children be children. They're playing, they're singing, they're having fun, and I'm sure there are communities that are here that the children worry about, what am I going to eat, or how am I going to eat, or am I going to eat today? It's cool to know that through the work that we're going to do, we can give more children the chance that they just had. We're going to get more experiences like that, and I think that's super sweet.
This is a dump where entire families would spend their days searching for bottles, metals, and things like that, and sift through the trash here in the hopes of making about $3 a day off the trash, and this is their livelihood.
This was crowded. There were about 400 people, children and adults digging into the trash, looking for recyclables. You know, I was impacted. I was overwhelmed with all this poverty. Not even as a Nicaraguan, I had seen so much poverty.
And when we got there, we still saw a few families doing that, and it was very moving for me to see children, 5, 6, 7 years old, just kind of rummaging through, watching the garbage truck dump all this trash and them start to do their work. It was awful. I can't imagine God would want that existence for anybody. And they spend their entire days doing that in this heat. What's beautiful about Food for the Hungry is they're an organization that gets how to do ministry and relief work. They don't just come in and throw money at a situation. The community needs to invite them in. They need to have the churches in the area that see the value in it, and they work at bringing these churches and the communities together to give them the tools to be self-sufficient. So they focus heavily on education.
There were 80 kids that were meeting under a mango tree with only one teacher. And they were not being promoted because the one teacher couldn't handle 80 kids. FH began by hiring an assistant teacher to help, and after the first year we saw a change. About 80% of the kids were promoted. And at that time we also began to build the school. So it was a slow process, but parents now are sending their kids to school. The registration grew from 80 kids to over 500, and attendance is over 95%. The local churches are working together to fulfill their dreams. With the facilitation of FH, they began to work on a community diagnostic. Then they developed a community plan for the next 10 years.
Wow.
So they have goals, they have dreams, and they know where they want to go.
So 9 years later, this doesn't look anything like a dump.
Correct. As you can see, streets are paved, the community is much greener. You know, kids are happy playing, they are going to school.
Music playing.
There is music in the background. So this model is going to be duplicated elsewhere.
Give people the basics just so they can thrive and learn and have a future.
Correct. Just teaching people how to fish and how to align their broken relations. And in this process, we're all transformed. My team, myself, pastors, parents, everybody.
And that's such a beautiful story that I am so looking forward to telling our supporters that jump in with our campaign. We want to get people that want to be involved on a greater level to come to Nicaragua and do work with us. But as they choose to sponsor a child, to see over the years how God slowly transforms the hearts and minds of the people as well as the community, to give them a chance to hope and dream again, to really have a chance to go after life and see that God has something great for them and a beautiful plan for their lives.
What if I take that leap and I fall on my face? I wanna live free.